Will you be one of the founders who meets the increasing demand for apps and beats the massive influx of app founders we're about to see come into the scene? If you're new around here, my name is Kristen, and I'm the co-founder of Coaching No Code Apps. We help business owners and industry experts build custom apps to either start their app-based business or grow their existing business, all without coding. So, what do I mean by that? Will you be the founder who meets the increasing demand for apps and beats the influx of founders coming in? Well, what I'm going to do is share my screen, and we are going to dive into this. So the demand for apps has been steadily increasing for years. All right. So before the coronavirus, before COVID-19, it was actually projected that, let me move this over, there would be 256 million paying app users by the year 2024. Okay, now to give you some context, that's about 80% of the entire US population, okay? Paying users for apps, all right? About 80% of the US population. Now, because of the massive shift online and to apps right now because of the coronavirus, that number, that 256 million, that's going to be left in the dust. I mean, the demand right now is so high, it's not going to turn around. The switch is not going to be flipped once we're on the other side of this. We're not going to go back to those earlier projections. They're only going to be higher, right? Right now, the coronavirus, COVID-19, and the effects of it are revealing massive holes and problems in both our day-to-day lives, also in our businesses, in our economy as a whole. It's revealing problems everywhere. Okay, now some of those problems are directly related to the coronavirus, but some of those problems were already there. They just hadn't been revealed yet. And regardless, they're still going to need to be solved right now and moving forward, because even problems being solved relevant to the coronavirus and what's going on are going to need to be solved in preparation for future challenges, which inevitably will come, right? So what's helping to solve all of those problems? Well, apps. Apps right now are playing a major role in helping to solve a lot of the problems that have been prevented, both right now, and they're also going to be continued to be used moving forward, which is why we're going to see that massive increase in demand, why we've already seen it, and why it's going to continue moving forward, right? People and businesses, regardless of what it's for, they're going to want to continue using apps to either solve their problems, prevent future problems, or maybe they were using an app to solve a problem that presented itself, but then they realized that using the app was actually easier or more advantageous than not using the app just in general, even regardless of the problem they were originally solving. You might have experienced this. I've found apps that I never would have thought to use before that now I'm using them to solve immediate problems, but I'm definitely going to use them moving forward because they make life easier, they make business easier. And we're going to see that in tons of areas all across the world moving forward. So as with any massively increased demand, right, when the demand goes up, so do people who are trying to meet that demand, right? The demand goes up, well, people are going to meet it, okay? That is how that's how the world works, right? People are going to start wanting to meet that demand, not only because they want to take advantage of the demand to build businesses around it, but a lot of them are going to want to be creating more recession-proof careers for themselves. We've been seeing a big influx already in online businesses just in the past several weeks and couple months. And that's because a lot of people are wanting to recession-proof themselves, whether it's transitioning to a digital business entirely or whether it's adding it on as an arm to their existing business. That's already happening, right? But a lot of people, they're being forced into different careers right now, right? Maybe they're having to change careers entirely. Well, the immediate and obvious answer for a lot of people is to turn to the online space because it is more recession proof right now. But regardless of the current situation in the world, it's much more scalable than creating a physical business or even being in a services business. Creating an app is a much more scalable model that's naturally going to be recession proof. Okay, so adding to that, the fact that we have the ability to use no-code tools, the playing field has sort of been leveled, right? No-code founders, non-tech founders, they are able to come onto the scene, anyone. It doesn't matter what your background is, and you can use no-code tools to create this recession-proof, scalable business, right? So the demand for apps is going up. Well, you can bet that people are going to be meeting that demand, right? That is how it works. So let's move down here and let's see what that is going to look like. So over on this side of our graph here, let's put app market growth. Okay, so we're going to be looking at app market growth over on this side. And let's talk about from right now, our current period, our current situation, moving forward. And then down here, let's look at number of app founders. Again, starting right now, starting with the current situation, moving forward. Okay, so I'm gonna get a different color here. So the app market growth right now is seeing this major incline. Right now, eventually that's going to level off a little bit, but it's still going to keep increasing because it already was increasing, right? Let me zoom out a little bit. It already was increasing, and that increase is not going to go away. It's just we've experienced this massive spike right now in the immediate that's pushing it up. It'll kind of level out, but it's still going to naturally increase from there. And then we have our number of app founders. Well, what's going to happen there? Well, as that demand for apps increases, right, the number of app founders is also going to increase to meet that demand, okay? Someone's going to meet it. There are a lot of smart people out there. The demand is going to be met, okay? So where are you right now? That's what I want to ask. Where are you? Okay, well, number one, I already know that you are at least aware of no-code tools, and you at least know that you have the ability to move quickly if you want to, right? You have the ability to meet the demand, and you have the ability to beat the influx of founders that are coming in. So where do you want to be? Well, ideally, you want to be somewhere right along here, right? Because that is going to mean you are meeting that demand, but you are beating the massive influx coming in. Okay, so you want to find yourself here. Okay, so think of it this way, all right? Imagine that, there's a really bad storm coming. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you could react. There's a lot of different ways, but for this example, let's look at two different ways you could react. Okay, so some people, when they know this really bad storm is coming, some people, they're going to go into their basements, they're going to go into their bathrooms, they're going to shut the doors, they're going to close themselves off, and they're going to wait it out. Okay, they're going to wait it out until it's safe to come back out and to continue with their lives. Now, some people plan ahead, right? Some people planned ahead. They knew there was a storm coming eventually, right? Storms come, okay? They knew that there would be a storm coming eventually. So what they did is they went out and they built a windmill because they wanted a way to generate energy, generate electricity from the storm, right? They found a way to use a bad situation for growth. They found a way to grow even in spite of this bad situation, right? You want to be the person who prepares for the storm. Now, the storm has already happened, right? The storm is happening right now, but this isn't going to go away next week or the next week or the next week. Even when, the isolation and the lockdowns and the quarantines are lifted, it's still going to take a long time to transition back. And we're not even really transitioning back. We're transitioning forward, and that's going to be a process, right? So you can still prepare for the storm, or you can still at least find a way to create growth for yourself, create an asset for yourself. You can find a way to meet the demand and beat this massive influx that is coming. Because just like the increase in demand for apps has been happening for a long time, well, so has the increase in app founders, because it's more widely available to people regardless of their backgrounds, right? So listen, if you have a solution for your own business or for an industry of which you are an expert, if you already have a solution in mind that solves a problem, okay, if you know there are already users who would want your app, or in other words, who need to solve the problem that you have identified, whether it's related to the coronavirus and the current situation, or whether it's related to something else. If you already know there are users who need it, and if you know that you want full control of your app, if you know you want to build your app and maintain control versus handing it off and relying on someone else to meet your vision or to convey your vision, or relying on someone else to grow and scale at the speed that you want, if you know that you want to take this into your own hands, no-code tools have leveled the playing field for you, right? Our founders have been using them to quickly create long-term assets for themselves right now that they can, that will allow them to meet this demand that they already knew was there, because they had already identified problems beforehand, right? Now a lot of those problems are being amplified, or the solutions themselves are being just put into the spotlight because so many more people are turning to apps, whereas before they might not have been. So if you know that you have a solution that users want and need, and you know you want to take this into your own hands so that you can truly bring your own vision to life, we help non-tech founders build custom apps without coding. We help them build them quickly and correctly in a way that sets them up to scale long term, so that they can either start their app-based business or use these apps to grow their existing business. And if you're interested in doing the same, if you want to meet that demand for apps, and if you want to beat that influx of founders who otherwise will be meeting that demand, and you want help along the way so that you can move forward quickly and correctly with a framework and a plan that you can follow and trust, we've blocked off a handful of times for free strategy calls this week, where you can hop on the phone, come up with a game plan for your app's development, and then talk through whether or not we can help you execute on that. So if you want to schedule one of those calls, you can either head to coachingnocodeapps.com/apply. You'll schedule a time to jump on a phone, and then you'll send over some details, fill out a short form that we'll review, or you can click the link right below this video and head there too. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps give you a new way to think about what is coming and how you can take the next steps with your app strategically, efficiently, and hopefully quickly. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.